Welcome to Dave on Film. I'm Dave, and I am indeed on film. And what is today's film? Well, we're going to be talking a little bit about Rocky Horror, but more importantly, we're actually going to be talking about a brand new documentary called Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the director of the documentary, Linus O'Brien. And my other guest is his father, who is the creator and writer of the Rocky Horror Show, and all-round legend Richard O'Brien. So I just want to welcome you both, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So welcome to my little bit of the world. I'm currently in Sheffield, in England. Where do we find you both at this moment?
Marvelous, marvelous. We like Sheffield. In
My
fact,
dad's in.
Rocky Horror's coming to your neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. There's usually it's always knocking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's in New Zealand, and I'm in Los Angeles.
Wow, so we're very international at the moment.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. So the documentary charts kind of the 50-year history of Rocky Horror Show from its inception as a stage show through becoming an iconic film and then kind of going very successfully back to the stage. First of all, Linus, would you be able to kind of give us an introduction to the documentary and why now, kind of on the 50th anniversary, it felt like the right time to tell this story?
Yeah, I mean, well, it was, we started making it 3.5 years ago, and what drew me to making it in the first place was the really heartfelt and poignant comments that were underneath the YouTube clip of I'm Going Home. I felt like the fans who have loved Rocky for so long should be celebrated, and then to be able to celebrate my dad's work and his music was also a nice opportunity. I think Rocky, more than anything else, I think you can boil it down to two words as far as its longevity, and that's community and connection. And so being able to highlight that in the documentary and shine a light on the people and the circumstances that have enabled them to set themselves to find connection through Rocky was extremely gratifying.
That's great, and I know like the song "I'm Going Home" has had such an impact on people, and like you say, it's those comments that really make you want to do this kind of thing.
Mhm.
What kind of themes were coming out of those? And were you going out and having conversations with people about that song in particular?
Yeah, I mean, every time we interviewed, because the song is very important to me and important to the fans. So every time we sat down with Susan or Tim or anyone involved in the documentary, we talked to them about I'm Going Home and what it meant to them. And Barry said some lovely things about it. Jack Black said some lovely things. So and the film scholar Jeffrey Weinstock also said some lovely things. So getting them to talk about the song and what it meant to them was very important to me when I started out making it.
Excellent. And Richard, so obviously you've got a great passion for Rocky Horror. It's been a massive part of your life. When Linus approached you about doing the documentary, did you absolutely jump at the chance to have the chance to tell the story?
Yes, and in fact, as you can imagine, with it coming up to 50 years, there was an awful lot of interest in doing a documentary of this kind. But when Linus said that he wanted to do it, that's all the other offers can go out the window because, there's a safe pair of hands, and that was far more important than anything else to know that it was going to be handled in a loving and kind manner rather than an exploitative or some kind of other way that might have been a approach that might have been attached to it. It's not that you want. Well, of course, you want to. It's important to always cherish your product. You don't want to. You don't want to. Be like that chap in London that had that chain of jewelry stores that went on one day that said out loud one day, "All we do is sell shit," And then his shareholders said, "Well, that's end of that particular chain of shops, isn't it?" We could belittle. You can find all sorts of things. See, we live in a we live in a time where people are talking about cultural kind of collapse,
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. It's not cancel culture. It's cultural evolution is what happens, because we've got cancel culture, especially dealing with the cruelties of colonialism. Is, let's have statues of Robert E. Lee and say no, because it's not cancel culture. We've grown. We know that we should be able to face these issues and talk about them and discuss the past. Because this is cultural evolution, and Rocky is cultural evolution in a way. It's we allow people to be more themselves, to speak more openly about how they feel. This isn't cancel culture. And people my age, we were inured, if that's a good word, isn't it? But we were inured with sexual impropriety. We were encouraged to be sexist. We were encouraged to be misogynistic. All the comedies, the Carry On films, James Bond, what's his name, Benny Hill, the television. We were all encouraged. It was part of our lives, and now we realise, of course, this is that we can't go down that road anymore. We can't belittle the mother-in-law. We can't belittle the wife and make fun of because she's a woman. It's things have changed, and Rocky has been part of that change. But we have these people who are, I don't know, they seem to want to bring back the bad old days. They want male superiority, white male superiority, apparently. We're all white. I can't think. Is there anything? Can you think of anything that makes us superior to other people? I've looked at myself several times. I've never been able to find it, whatever it is, that makes me better than anyone else.
That's a good way. That's a fantastic way of looking at it. We do live in that world now where social media is just so in your face. It's there, and it can create so many problems, but at the same time, it can create so many good things as well. And I think it's using it in that way. So, do you think that a film? This is to both of you. Do you think a film or a show like Rocky Horror could be created from fresh nowadays, or do you think there would be too much vitriol against it for it to even get off the ground in the first place?
I think one of the things that would be against it was that we would be approaching it too knowingly, and that would be a problem. Once you start approaching things knowingly, you start to edit, you start to be aware. And it gets fed into your work. It's a problem. We didn't have any of that. I had a total free reign to be as silly as I possibly as I wanted to, without anybody telling me we can't go down that road, we weren't ticking boxes. You see, it was nothing. We weren't doing any of that business. We were just having fun, putting all these elements together and having fun. So yeah, it's today. I'm approaching it today. We might be trying to sell this idea. That wouldn't be right either, because I hate agitprop. I hate going to the theatre and being beaten over the head with a message. I don't mind a message, but it's better if it's an analogy or subliminal. That you don't get the message until you get home, and you think about it later on. It permeates its way through your brain, and you go, actually, that, and that's the way to deal with it. As a writer, one of the biggest problems is getting exposition without it appearing to be exposition.
Yeah. And I would just echo my dad's sentiments about that exactly. So I don't have anything really new to say to that. Yeah, you don't want to beat people over the head with a message. It turns people off, actually.
And I think that's one good thing that the documentary does, is it kind of shows how culturally Rocky Horror has had such an impact on people, and it
Hmm.
explores that whole idea of people being themselves and being who they want to be. And I
Hmm.
think there was
Mm.
a moment in the documentary where there was the interview with yourself, Richard, where somebody asked about people playing a role when they dress up. And you really eloquently put it as something along the lines of they're not playing a role, they're just being themselves and being allowed to be themselves. And I think the
Hmm.
documentary does that really well. And
No, thank you.
is that the kind of angle that you wanted to come at from the whole project?
Yeah,
No, not
the
at all.
important.
Oh, Linus, it's yours. Yes, your point. Go on.
Yeah, it was just a major theme, wanting to let other people know and the world know that Rocky has always provided a safe place for people who felt a bit different or felt a bit on the fringes of society, and to show how inclusive it was. I mean, a lot of people. And a lot of the shadow cast, they've met their wives, their husbands there. They've introduced their children and their grandchildren to it, and so it's a very inclusive place for people who just felt that they didn't quite fit in with society, and especially in the Midwest and the southern states of America. I felt like that's extremely important to highlight that, because they don't have a lot going on. They can't get into bars or clubs, and here they can do something late night on Fridays and Saturdays that is extremely fun and joyous. So yeah, it was very important for us to include that aspect in the documentary.
I definitely feel like I need to get to one of these late night showings. The amount of footage that I've seen of it now, they just look absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
When
there's over 250 active shadow casts in North America still. And that's after 50 years. It's a testament to its longevity and legacy.
it really is, it's
They're also
fantastic.
they're also celebrating the 50 years in Austria, in Vienna at this moment as well, for some reason or other. I just got an email the other day.
Sure.
It's global, Richard.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so, Linus, when you're putting together a documentary like this, how easy did you find it, kind of getting everybody on board? So all the actors that were still with us, and kind of get going about getting all the archive footage and all the images, were they just readily available because of the closeness you had with Richard?
Yeah, I mean, yes, to a degree. I had relationships with Pat and Nell in my early years, and everyone was very accommodating. I think it took a little time to schedule Tim Curry, but he couldn't have been nicer and kinder with his time. So, to be honest, it was actually very easy. And as for the archival footage, we have a great archival producer on our film, and so we would search ourselves, and then he would go through all the other places like Getty and so forth to dig out archival pieces that we hadn't seen before. I mean, there's a great one. Dad talks about seeing it with a audience at a convention in Long Island, and we found that footage. And so to be able to get his story and show the footage from that convention was a real thrill, obviously, when those things come together. And my creative team, my producers Adam Gibbs and Garrett Price, and my creative partner Avner Shiloah, we just all worked very well together. It was there was the editing process took only 2 months to do, and to be honest, when it was over, I was quite a bit sad, because I was like, oh, I wanted to spend a bit longer in here, but we worked so well together that it all happened very quickly. So yeah, very grateful to the whole team that have created something that we're all very happy with.
Excellent. Speaking of editing, I've noticed when I came to watch the film recently, the actual film of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and this might be more directed towards Richard.
Mhm.
The song "Superhero" is missing from especially the Disney Plus version, and I read that it was edited out because American audiences felt that the final song was a little bit too depressing for the end of the film, and I was just kind of wondering. Both on Richard, on your thoughts on why that's not there, and also Linus, I noticed
I
that
know.
the
I
end
think
of
I
the
feel. Okay. I feel guilty. I think I may well have been responsible for the original editing of that song out, and I didn't intend it to be. There is an intro. There's a long guitar intro into it before Brad sings his first verse. I've done a lot. God knows I've tried. and the cameras in the movie, the cameras going over debris and smoke and tracking over this fairly long guitar intro until the camera settles on Brad and he sings his first verse. And I said, let's lose the intro. Let's cut straight to Brad. Well, they didn't, did they? They cut Brad and Janet's verse out for some reason or other. And to this day, I still don't understand why. It's put back occasionally, and it should always be there. Their verses should always be there. But for some reason or other, they lose it. And I don't quite know why.
Yes, I did wonder, Linus, on the documentary, you do end the documentary with that song, with Richard playing that song, and I didn't know whether that was some kind of, because there's generations of people who are not coming to the film now who may never see that song. It was nice to see
I think, yeah, I think the Shadowcast try to include it as much as possible, that version now. So I think it's actually become a bit more standard than it was previously. And we wanted to end the song, the documentary, with superheroes because it's such a lovely rendition that my dad and Richard Hartley performed while we were in New Zealand. And then the way that my dad ends the song with saying "Get down, I'm a bad motherfucker" was the perfect ending to the film. And every time I show it at festivals, like the laughter and cheer at the end of that is quite something. So very happy it all turned out the way it did. You're looking sheepish, Dad.
Did it affect the BBFC rating at all, though?
I don't know how they're rating it, but yeah.
That's great. So is there anything, just we're running out of time, is there anything that kind of wasn't covered in the documentary that you wanted to cover but just didn't have time to cover?
No, we managed to actually cover everything that we wanted to in the 90 minutes, which was quite a feat, considering there's so many storylines. There's the origin history of Rocky, and then my dad's personal journey, and then the midnight screenings, and the effect of Rocky on the LGBTQ community was a lot to get in there and make everything felt like it had enough time, but also maybe that you maybe wanted a little bit more to get that sweet spot between satisfying people and wanting them to have a little bit more. That's if you can thread that needle, that's where it's at. And I think we managed it.
Yes,
Yeah, you certainly did. It's a fantastic piece of work. I absolutely loved everything. I've watched it twice already. I absolutely loved it. And
thanks, David.
It's great to talk to you. And it's going to be in cinemas October the 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, in the UK.
Yes, in the UK and Ireland. Just finally, quick words from you both. Richard, quick word from yourself about what you see as your legacy and how you'd like Rocky to continue kind of for the next 50 years and what you see that being.
I have no future desires. I let the winds blow as they will. I just hope that liberal democracy survives these awful years. I get so depressed with the shape of the world at the moment, and MAGA idiocy. My hope is that liberal democracy survives this dreadful time.
And my thoughts are that Rocky will outlive us all as long as there's people performing theatre and wanting to see the film. It's going to continue long after we're all gone, because at the end of the day, it's a very joyous event. So yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. It's a runaway train, Rocky, and we're here for the ride.
We've all been on board for many years. We've all dressed. I've dressed up. I've been there at the live shows. I've loved it, and just seeing this documentary put together again, Linus. Thank you for the documentary.
No, my pleasure.
And thank you, Richard, for bringing Rocky Horror to us all. And also,
thank you, Dave.
on a personal note, thank you as well for the Crystal Maze, for all those years of entertaining us in the Crystal Maze. I've got to say thank you for that. It was a childhood favourite of mine.
Linus and I sat together. We watched the first Crystal Maze, and I'd never been on television before playing myself. Always dressed up with makeup and other people's lines and whatnot. So this is the first time out as myself, really. And we were down in a place called Cranley where we were living, and we went into the room to watch this on television. I had a quick jazz cigarette before we watched it, and I was scared stiff. I remember sitting with Linus, and I was scared stiff, and it started up, dum, 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 and off it went. And the very first game, I put someone in the room, and I said, "Child of 3 could do this," and I turned to the camera and I went. And we both roared with laughter. I thought, oh, thank God, we've laughed. It can't be that bad. Everything's going to be all right.
It's funny that the producers had no idea that Dad was going to turn to the camera and talk during those down moments, or at least the moments when the games were going on. And so they had a whole gift presented to them, because a regular presenter would probably just let the game develop, but my dad couldn't help himself. And then
it wasn't that. I had two cameramen outside the game. And they used to look at me and go, "What were we supposed to be shooting here, Richard? What the backs of heads? What are we supposed to be doing?" I said, come over here. I tell you what, I've had a dreadful week. Mumsy's been sick as a dog. And I just start talking into the lens.
Yes.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter where I went, because if it wasn't any good, they didn't have to show it. But if I was funny let's put it in.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad we got to talk about Crystal Maze as well as Rocky Horror and the new documentary. So I'll stop the recording there, and I'll thank you both for your time. It's been phenomenal. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated, David. Thanks very much.